They say the desert holds many secrets, some better left undisturbed. Here's another tale of terror from the sands. A story not of genies or jinn, but of an evil rooted in humanity. It began as tales often do, with whispers on the wind. For generations, the village of Arcadia, nestled in the shadow of the high Atlas Mountains, lived under the specter of fear, their lives dictated by an ancient curse, one laid upon them by a spirit of immense sorrow. The village sat close to an old Kasbah, a fortress of ages past, now little more than crumbling stones under the unforgiving sun. This Kasbah held a history of loss, of a betrayal so deep that death itself seemed like an insufficient punishment. In the heart of the village, deep within the homes, fear ran like a current. Families spoke of it in hushed tones, their faces etched with worry as they told stories of a family torn apart, of a father driven mad with grief, of a son forever marked by tragedy. Each telling added a layer of dread, weaving a tapestry of fear so thick it seemed to choke the sunlight from their lives. For centuries, the villagers offered prayers, made sacrifices, all in a futile attempt to appease the spirit's unending wrath. Yet the curse only tightened its grip, seeping into their lives like sand through an hourglass. Then came the day when Fatima's son disappeared, vanishing without a trace. Her pleas for help, lost in the wind, went unanswered. Fear twisted in her gut as she realized the horrifying truth. She was merely the latest in a long line of mothers bearing witness to the curse's cruel toll. With a heavy heart, she joined the others, their shared grief forming a bond as they gathered at the entrance of the forsaken cause. Their whispered tales wove a tapestry of tragedy, each story a thread in the fabric of fear that bound them together. In the tapestry, the spirit emerged, not as a vengeful phantom, but as a mournful shade, forever seeking solace, forever seeking justice. The spirit's origins lay in the village's distant past, in a tale of love and loyalty that turned to ash in the face of greed and deceit. There was Zora, a young woman whose laughter echoed through the village like the tinkling of a fountain. Her heart belonged to Hakim, a man whose love for her knew no bounds. Yet their happiness was a fragile thing, threatened by the dark cloud of suspicion that loomed over Hakim's brother, Omar. Consumed by envy, Omar plotted to tear the siblings apart, whispering lies into the ears of their father, sowing seeds of doubt that quickly grew into towering redwoods of distrust. Unbeknownst to Omar, Hakim's heart was pure, his actions guided by principles and faith. He was a man of the land, respected by all who knew him, known for his honesty and unwavering commitment to his faith. Evenings were spent in prayer, his devotion to God evident in the tranquility that radiated from him during these sacred moments. But Omar's venomous whispers took root, twisting the father's perception of Hakim until trust became a distant memory and suspicion hardened into certainty. One fateful day, the father's accusations culminated in a horrifying ultimatum. Hakim must leave the village, forfeit his inheritance, and relinquish any claim to his father's love and protection. Torn between his duty to his family and his devotion to God, Hakim chose the path of righteousness. With heavy steps he walked away from the village, the echoes of his father's words stinging like a fresh wound. Zora, upon learning of her lover's banishment, was consumed with grief. Her world, once filled with sunshine, became overcast with despair. Days turned into nights as she refused to eat, drink, or sleep, her heart withering with each passing moment. The vibrant young woman who once graced the village with her laughter and song was reduced to a hollow shell, her spirit tethered to the world by a single thread of hope. Meanwhile, Hakim wandered through the vast wilderness, the bustling life of the village replaced by the haunting silence of solitude. He roamed for what felt like an eternity, the pain of separation eating away at his resolve. Then fate intervened. Hakim stumbled upon a hermit dwelling deep within the embrace of the mountains. This solitary figure, untouched by the conflicts of the outside world, became Hakim's confidant, offering solace and guidance. The hermit recognized the depth of Hakim's anguish, the purity of his intentions, and the strength of his faith. Seeing in him a reflection of his own journey, the hermit took Hakim under his wing, sharing with him the secrets of the mountains, teaching him the ways of solitude and instilling in him the resilience to endure. As Hakim found solace in the mountains, Zora's condition in the village grew increasingly dire. Her emaciated frame, once the picture of health and beauty, became a canvas of suffering. Her eyes, once sparkling with life, turned inward, reflecting the torment of a soul unmoored from hope. The villagers, witnesses to her slow decline, pleaded with her parents to relent, to bring her beloved Hakim back. But the father remained steadfast in his misguided conviction. Days bled into weeks, weeks into months, and Zora's health continued its agonizing slide. The vibrant young woman who once brought joy to the village now lay on the brink of death, her life force ebbing away with each passing moment. Then came the inevitable. Zora's spirit, weary from its earthly ordeal, departed, leaving behind a body drained of vitality in a village shrouded in grief. With Zora's passing, a profound shift occurred within Hakim. The hermit's teachings resonated anew, guiding him back to the village, not as a heartbroken lover, but as a man on a mission. Upon his arrival, Hakim confronted his father, demanding answers and resolution. But the father, consumed by guilt and regret, could offer nothing but hollow apologies and futile promises. Hakim, driven by his righteous purpose, refused to back down. His words, fueled by grief and determination, echoed through the village, rousing Zora's parents from their slumber of grief. They understood, with a soul-crushing clarity, the extent of their folly. The once strong bond between father and children, severed by Omar's machinations, now stretched beyond repair. The weight of their actions, years of estrangement and heartache, crashed down upon them, heavy and suffocating. As the gravity of their mistake dawned on them, they fell to their knees, beseeching Hakim for forgiveness, for a second chance to mend the fractured tapestry of their family. But Hakim, burdened by the depths of his own sorrow, could not find it in his heart to grant their plea. The pain of losing Zora, the humiliation of his father's betrayal, the treachery of his brother Omar, had hardened his resolve. He was a man transformed, his spirit tempered in the fires of adversity, his heart fortified against the pangs of sentimentality. With a heavy heart he rejected their pleas, unable to forgive, unwilling to forget. He turned away from them, seeking solace not in words, but in the tranquil embrace of prayer. In that moment, a profound realization swept over Hakim's parents. The tapestry of their lives, once vibrant and promising, had been ripped asunder by their choices. They had traded love, trust, and familial bonds for fleeting moments of misguided triumph, and now faced with the consequences of their actions, they were left grasping at the fragments of a shattered past. The weight of their mistake pressed down on them, heavy and inescapable. It was a torment that transcended physical pain, a torment of the soul that echoed the desolate expanse of their hearts. Driven by remorse, they embarked on a pilgrimage to Hakim's hermitage in the mountains. The journey was arduous, a metaphor for the treacherous terrain of their hearts, each step a testament to the distance they had created between themselves and their son. When they finally reached the hermitage, Hakim received them not with anger or resentment, but with a profound sadness. He saw in their eyes the torment that mirrored his own, the profound regrets that had led them to this desolate place. Yet despite the depth of his sorrow, Hakim's heart remained resolute. He knew that true healing could only come from within, from acknowledging the depths of their transgressions and striving for redemption in their own way. He offered them not words of condemnation, but of solace, reminding them that in the tapestry of life, even the darkest threads could be woven into patterns of growth and understanding. In that secluded mountain abode, amidst the serene surroundings, Hakim's parents found a semblance of peace. They delved deep into acts of charity and prayer, their every action a step toward atonement. Each sunrise brought a renewed sense of purpose. Each sunset a quiet prayer for forgiveness. They poured their energy into acts of kindness, their hands reaching out to ease the burdens of others, their hearts striving to heal the wounds they themselves had inflicted. Years turned into a decade, the Hermitage becoming a sanctuary of sorts. Hakim's parents, once lost in the labyrinth of their guilt, emerged transformed. They had shed the weight of their past mistakes, replacing them with the lightness of hope and the warmth of second chances. When they finally decided to return to the village, it was not as broken individuals, but as symbols of resilience. The villagers, upon seeing their return, were filled with a mix of emotions. Some saw in them the ghosts of their former selves, while others witnessed the embodiment of redemption. Hakim, upon seeing his parents' transformation, felt a surge of pride mixed with forgiveness. He welcomed them back to the village, not with open arms, but with a gentle nod of acceptance. In that moment, the cycle of hatred and vengeance that had plagued their family for years was broken. The spirits, sensing the shift in energy, withdrew from the village, leaving behind the remnants of its sorrow. As the years rolled on, Hakim's parents became integral parts of the community once more. Their days were filled with the rhythm of village life, their evenings with the warmth of familial bonds. They never forgot the lessons learned in the mountains, the value of love, the strength of forgiveness, and the enduring power of the human spirit to heal.